Welcome address. Please join me as I make welcome the chairman, SEDC, Dr. Emeka Nwogo, CON. Please, can we give him a round of applause, please? Please keep it going for him. 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 Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy. The Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Ndubisi Mba, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chidebere Onia. Honorable Chris Nkwanta, the Chairman, House Committee on SEDC, Southeast Development Commission. The Honorable Minister of Regional Development, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Rural Development, and other Permanent Secretaries here present. Mark Okoye, 2, Capacity MD, and the CEO of SEDC, and other MDs of other development commissions, ably represented here. I've seen my own brother, also Joe Mamel, representing South-South Development Commission. I've seen our sister representing the Southwest Development Commission. You're all welcome. The CEO representing the Southwest Field, Armstrong, Takeng, Ike Chioke, MD Africa Southeast Rep in SEDC. Uju Awoka, also known as Uju Rochas Okorocha, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Health and Focal Person, and other captains of industries here present. And my dear colleagues of the Southeast DC Board, both executive and non-executive here represented, particularly the man in charge of the finances of the commission, who is the anchor person, Right Honorable Stanley Ohajiruka. Management and staff of SEDC, ladies and gentlemen, and the press. Sorry to go through the long list. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this landmark event of the Southeast Venture Capital Program, SEVCP, Pitch Competition and Investment Ceremony. Last February this year, we were in this same venue for the Southeast Vision 2050 Stakeholders Forum, which gave birth to today's event. This event is not just a ceremony, it is a statement of intent. The Southeast has always been rich in entrepreneurial talent, resilience, and innovation. What has been missing historically is structured access to capital and institutional support needed to scale ideas into global competitive businesses. The Southeast Development Commission is committed to changing that. The SEVCP is a strategic platform designed to unlock innovation by connecting founders to capital, mentorship, and growth opportunities. It is not just about funding startups. It is about building a sustainable innovation ecosystem for the region. The response to this program has been strong, with innovators across sectors stepping forward with bold ideas and viable solutions. This affirms what we already know: the Southeast is ready. To our finalists, you are not just building businesses, you are solving real problems, creating jobs, and shaping the economic future of this region. To our partners and investors, we appreciate your confidence in the potential of the Southeast. Your involvement is critical to building a thriving private sector-led ecosystem. Our goal is clear: to catalyze a system that attracts long-term capital, supports scalable enterprises, and positions the Southeast as a leading innovation hub in Nigeria and across Africa. This journey will be driven by partnerships between government, investors, innovators. To our finalists, congratulations. You represent the next generation of builders in this region. The next generation is today. The future is today. Congratulations. Let me end this speech with the words of Dr. William F. Pickard. I quote, "If you approach 100 people for seed capital, 99 of them may say no. You just need that one." Quote close. That one is Southeast Development Commission. Let us work together to build companies that scale, to build companies that scale, industries that endure, and an ecosystem where innovation can thrive. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless the South region. God bless the SEDC, and God bless everyone who has attended today. Thank you.
Please, can we give him a bigger applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies. Thank you so much, sir. All right, I would love to recognize some of our guests here quickly. We have here seated Dr. Mary A. Ogbe, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Regional Development. Please, can we give her a round of applause, please? Also, we have Dr. Armstrong Ume Takang, CEO of Ministry of Finance Incorporated. Please, can we keep it going down for him, please? We also have here Dr. Nuhu Yahaya, Rep. Executive Secretary, Solid Mineral Development Fund. You're welcome, sir. Also here we have Kola Aino, Managing Partner. You're welcome. Thank you. We also have Innocent Isuche, Chairman Ad Hoc Committee on SEVCP. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure and honor as a young Nigerian to recognize this young creative mind. One time the youngest commissioner in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The man on his shoulders, this commission, is settled upon. The man who is driving the ship, and I dare say that he's taking us and the region in the right direction. Please join me as I make welcome the MD CEO, South East Development Commission, the young, the creative, the one and only Mark Okoye. Please can we give him a resounding applause, ladies and gentlemen. When we say youth, this is what we're talking about. When we say the youth should lead, Mark is an example. Please, one more time, can we give him a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, represented by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Taiwo Oyedele. His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, Governor Peter Mba, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Onya. Permit me to please stand on all due and existing protocols. I think the day is fast spent, and we have a very rich program, and we know Mr. President's time is of essence, so we want to see how we can run through it. Let me welcome everyone to the Southeast, the launch of the Southeast Venture Capital Program. Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, Mr. President, 15 months ago, when we were created on February 11th, we didn't have desks, we didn't have an office, we didn't have vehicles, we had no staff, no systems, just a statutory mandate that was created by law to go and create this organization. Typical protocols and how long it takes to set it up. But I think when we sat in our meetings, Your Excellency, as EDs in management, we already had 7 management meetings before we were inaugurated. So we had 7 pre-inaugural management meetings where we were crafting, looking at the problems, looking at the issues, looking at development, knowledge-based publications that have been done on the Southeast, and crafting what we call the Southeast Strategic Roadmap for the next 3-4 years. So I want to thank the chairman and the rest of the board members who they made history. One day after we were set up, they approved the 3-year roadmap for the SCDC and gave us direction. And what that did for us is that it allowed us to have something to put on the table as we embarked on possibly the most ambitious stakeholder engagement exercise at federal government. We met 120 federal government agencies, 150 representatives of the manufacturing, of the organized private sector in the Southeast. We met our governors, all 5 of them, 3 times. We met 5,000 diasporans leveraging technology. We met international development organizations, faith-based organizations, all the way for about 7 or 8 months. But as we were doing that, even though we hadn't really taken off, as the case may be, we felt that there were some critical initiatives that we wanted to give direction to. And those were, 1, we felt that it was necessary for sustainability, that we needed, the private sector needed to play a role in how we roll out our plans. So the investment company was very critical to help to start the building blocks on that. The second was the Southeast Venture Capital Program. And as you know, Your Excellency, we hadn't gotten any funding. So what we did, and the people are here in the room, we put out a link requesting for people to apply to support us pro bono on a volunteer basis. We had 3,700 people go into that database in 48 hours. And from there, we picked a team of 11 people who came in as the inaugural pro bono advisory team for the Southeast Venture Capital Program. We had people like Innocent, Emeka Fibo of Facebook, and really great minds that supported that work. We gave them 6 weeks to get us a conceptual framework for how we should catalyze ecosystem development in the Southeast. And we told them we can't pay them because we don't have money. But that what we would do is that we would take it hook, line, and sinker and ensure we implement it T for T. So as soon as they submitted it, we took it back to our management and our board, and under 2 weeks, it was adopted and approved as a policy document for the Southeast Venture Capital in the Southeast. So today, sir, this is a culmination of all that effort. And we're not cutting ribbons on a borehole or a small project here and there. Those are important, and I'll address it at some point while I stand here. But we're writing equity checks. It is not grants. It is not, as you call it, dash money. It is money that requires significant trust in the people we're giving it to. And we've assessed them. They've been in boot camps for the last 2 to 3 weeks. They went through a very credible process. And on the back of that, we're using it as a soft launch to launch the Venture Capital Fund for the Southeast, where we'll be deploying capital in that space. It is also very strongly aligned to Mr. President's Renewed Hope agenda. And this is the same for every program we're doing. We didn't just create this in isolation. Mr. President made a promise to Nigerians on page 50 of his manifesto that he will create innovative financing mechanisms to support startups, boost job creation, and industrialize Nigeria. So for us, this is a regional implementation of that vision from Mr. President. Your Excellency, for the founders, over 1,003 of them applied to this program. And one thing that I also want to thank the board, the management, and the entire political ecosystem around the project, especially also the ministry. When we presented our plans to them across our different areas, on all the youth development programs, which the SCVC is one of, they instructed that we must ensure that these programs are completely ring-fenced from any sort of political interference, because it concerns the young people and it must be done on merit. That was a directive given by the minister, directive given by the board, and there was collective agreement also from our National Assembly members that on these programs, let's ensure that this one touches the people. Because the most critical success factor for the growth and development of this space is that every single startup here must feel like they earned it. That it started from 1,300 people, companies, and there are only 30 or so that will be awarded as winners and then become the flagship founders of our program. So congratulations to you, but a huge, huge responsibility. To our investors, DFIs, private sector, I see everybody here. I see Zrox Capital, great guy who's deployed maybe $40, $50 million in startups over the last 2-3 years. I see Kola, I know. I see Lemfi, I see Flutterwave. I see everyone. I see Sandra Chukwudozie. Your Excellency, this room, I can say, has maybe, you could say, 400, 500 people. But in terms of capital to be deployed, I probably think that the people in this room have deployed anything between $300 and $400 million over the last 3 years. You know how it is in tech. They are small but mighty. I see Terra and a number of them, and some of them will be here. So my view is that the Southeast has enormous entrepreneurial culture. We have strong diaspora strength. We have commercial history. And we have a manufacturing base and also a regional market that is just about 40% the size of Niger State from a landmass perspective. But ever since the last 14 years, I can speak to my experience, Honorable Minister. For every extremely brilliant founder, young man or woman in either the secondary schools, in the technical colleges, or in the universities, be it FUTO, UNN, UNIZIC, they've always had to run to Lagos, run to Abuja, or find a way to Japa in search of $4,000, $5,000 to develop their idea. So on today's, with the launch of this fund, Your Excellency, Mr. President, you are breaking that jinx in the Southeast forever. There will be capital for our young men and women. It is going to be a $50 million platform, blended finance. It is not controlled by SCDC. SCDC has an investment company called the Southeast Investment Company. That one goes ahead to create a special purpose vehicle that houses the fund. In terms of governance, we will not be on that. It will be controlled by people who are seasoned and understand this space. And their job will be to look at it based on merit and deploy capital to ensure that we catalyze growth of our ecosystem over the next couple of years. 3 months ago, our political leadership, they came here and they sat on this stage. led by Governor Peter Mba, who was the chief host on that day. And he said, let's reimagine a world, reimagine a Southeast that doesn't have borders, one that has one unified economic bloc. We've tied into that. And we believe that this is a direct implementation of that vision that Governor Mba said here and was supported by all the governors. Why? Because already this is the kind of program that essentially identifies a young man or woman in Abakaliki, right? Funds her, but she looks and is providing support to someone in Owerri, and she's hiring someone also coming from Oka. This entire regional market is so tiny that when they do get this funding from one fund that is set up for the region, automatically as the funding comes in, they stop thinking about the states that they are in, and they start looking at the region as one platform of opportunity for them to catalyze. Last point I want to make is that we have seen the calls, because obviously we're not the first development commission. There have been others before us. And we just try to explain, every opportunity we have, we try to explain why we're doing what we're doing and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. It's a pioneer agency, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and we can say probably in the next 4 weeks, the first draft of the 25-year plan will be put together. That plan is essentially what directs what are our priorities around infrastructure. So there's a push by our people to have rail lines, to have all these different things popping up. But I see the governor of Enugu, the SSG, also nodding, and he understands development even more than I do. That sequencing and priorities are very, very critical. We've been here for 1 year and 2-3 months. We think that we'll deliver a 25-year plan very soon as a draft for validation. The investment company is about to be launched. That will also take shape and start coming up with some creative ways of financing mega infrastructure projects. But to speak to the rail, we're looking at the feasibility. Even the federal government is doing it already. However, we listen to the audience. When we sat with the people who employ 8 million people in the region, the Manufacturers Association, the Chambers of Commerce, once we presented the priorities to them, rail, port, and this, they gave us one directive: give us gas pipelines. You give us gas, we industrialize. You give us gas, we crash our energy costs by 80%. You give us gas, we can assure you that in a year or two, after the gas infrastructure is in place, we employ another 8 million. That then creates a middle class that supports your rail ambitions. That then creates the industries that provide the freight that you can move on rail. So sequencing is something that our stakeholders in the Southeast must understand as a critical development concept. We will get there, but we are putting forward a plan that addresses every single thing. So on that note, sir, I say we've waited 54 years. And in that 54 years, Your Excellency, Mr. President, we had 6 democratically elected presidents, or 6 military heads of state. We had 5 democratically elected presidents, and that entire time, Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Southeasterners were pleading and begging for the Southeast Development Commission. But you came in again and broke the jinx. So I say thank you so much, sir, and we will not fail you, we will not disappoint you. Thank you very much and have a good day.
I think he deserves a bigger applause, ladies and gentlemen, please. MD CEO, Southeast Development Commission, Mark Okoye. Please, one more time, can we give him a round of applause, Your Excellencies? Thank you. I'd like to quickly recognize here seated the presence of Olufumi Olani, Senior Vice President, Business Development, Flocta-Wave. Please, can we? Thank you for coming. Please wave, let's see you. Thank you for coming. Also, I have here seated Honorable Dr. Adana Steinecker, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Women's Health. Please, can we give her a round of applause, please? Madam, please wave. Please wave. Let's know that you're here. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Next up would be goodwill messages from our partners and stakeholders. And first, next up would be goodwill the messages from our stakeholders and partners here seated. And first on my list, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Head of SME Segment Enterprise Business MTN Nigeria, Omaomi Olatobozo. Can we give her a round of applause, please? Let's keep it going for her, please. Yeah, as she makes her way to the stage. You're welcome, ma'am. Please, one more time, can we still encourage her with a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It was a long walk, but I'm happy to be here. So, good morning, good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. I am really excited to be here. And I just want to thank you for giving MTN the opportunity to be here. Can we move this? Let me see if I can. Okay, at MTN, we see ourselves not just as a connectivity provider, but as a strategic enabler of enterprise growth. We believe in the Southeast region, and we believe in the potential that it holds. Our presence at this forum represents our deliberate commitment to helping unlock the region's untapped entrepreneur opportunities. So our core belief at MTN is that everyone deserves the benefit of a modern connected life. We empower businesses at every stage. And we believe that businesses require let me calm down. Okay, so we believe that businesses at every stage of maturity have the right to strive in this digital-first economy. From SMEs that focus on growth and sustainability to large enterprises and the public sector that prioritizes productivity and transformation. And this is why we are here today, to demonstrate our support for this laudable initiative in the Southeast region. So this is Africa's moment. This is Africa's moment. We see the talent, we see the innovation, and we know that the ambition to actually achieve great things is here. However, 51% of Africans still lack sufficient funding, compounded by a significant infrastructure deficit. This is not just a funding challenge, it's an ecosystem gap, and the one that MTN is very well positioned to help solve by providing the support and solution that empowers businesses at all levels. On the 1st of July, MTN launched a best-in-class Tier 3 data center that was graciously commissioned by the Honorable Minister of Commission and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosu Tijani, marking our official commencement of the MTN Cloud Accelerator Program. This groundbreaking initiative attracted an overwhelming response from about 8,000 startups across the country. And following a rigorous selection process, 20 high-potential startups were chosen across key sectors, including fintech, health, and agriculture, amongst many others, just like it's been done here today. The milestone stands as our strong testament to MTN's unwavering commitment to bridging the digital divide and driving impactful innovation across Nigeria. Okay. The Accelerator program was strategically designed to empower high-impact and growth-stage African startups with tools and resources required to scale sustainably. Delivered through a 12-week hybrid model, the program featured a 100 million equity-free funding pool, which each participating startup received 5 million in funding. Beyond financial support, MTN provided the startup with extensive access to core infrastructure, deep technical expertise, and expansive market reach. As highlighted by leadership, we are not just investing in capital, we are actually enabling scale through our ecosystem. We are proud here to have actually empowered high potential startups across critical sector, from the AI-driven cloud deployment platform like PipeOps to the data-driven revenue tools like Bonds, which have now officially transitioned into being strategic partners of MTN. And we will continue to move forward with a unified mission for the continent. And it is for Africa, from Africa, powered by MTN. MTN Beyond Connectivity portfolio actually includes IoT, from cybersecurity to advanced cloud and data center infrastructure. We also empower enterprises through digital platforms. And to learn more about how this solution can actually power up your business, please visit us at mtn.ng/business. Our team will always be ready to engage and discuss how we can actually scale your operation and growth. So I am just going to leave you here with that today. Again, I am very appreciative of giving me this stage to present MTN to you and what we are doing across the different landscape that we find ourselves. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Please, one more time, can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you. I'd love to crave our indulgence that we keep it brief, please. 3 minutes max, please, yeah, so we can. All right, next on my list, please join me as I make welcome Program Director Cascador, Amanda Etok. Okay, please, let's keep it going for her, please. Let's keep it going for her, please. Thank you. Please stick to time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. All protocols duly observed. It is an extreme pleasure of mine to be here. I am almost jealous of the people that are from the Southeast, and I'm waiting for a similar thing to come to my own region of South Nigeria. So today I'm standing here representing Cascador. We are an Africa-focused program who's focused on supporting entrepreneurs that are creating the change we want to see in our society. Since 2019, we have supported an elite group of entrepreneurs across sectors: manufacturing, agriculture, the real economy sectors that are providing the change that we want to see in the communities. We're very proud of the work that the SCDC is doing, and we want to put money behind our support, supporting some of the top contenders in this edition's competition. We want to support the SCDC with the work that it's doing to make sure that companies, talents, and businesses, not just across metropolitan cities, but across even southeastern Nigeria, are recognized for the great value that they bring to our country. We want to do this year, and hopefully, as we see the growth and the transformation that these industries create in Southeast Nigeria, we intend to do more. It's our intention today that every partner, every organization looks beyond the most popular cities and sees that talent is indeed universal, but opportunities are not. And that initiatives like this continue to provide the opportunities and platforms that businesses in Nigeria need. We recognize the Southeast as an economic nerve center of Nigeria, and in supporting here today, we hope to see the transformation that these industries and these finalists provide to our country. Finally, I say congratulations to every finalist that has stood on this stage for this competition. Regardless of the money that you get, the visibility, the opportunity of being in the room with some of the greatest minds in Nigeria here is just the catalytic support that you may need to transform your venture. So congratulations, and we hope to see what you do for our great country, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Please, can we give her a bigger applause, please? Thank you. Next on our list, I have co-founder Terra Industries, Nathan Wachuku. Can we give him a round of applause as he makes his way to the stage? Please, let's keep it going for him. Let's keep it going for him. Yeah. This is what the future of tech looks like. This is how they look. They are like this, but very smart. Please, one more time, can we give him a round of applause, please? Yeah. Leave the dreads. Focus on the ideas.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to keep standing on existing protocol. I'm very honored to be speaking here today. I'm excited that an event like this is holding. At Terra, the entire goal of Terra was to drive, building indigenous technologies to drive industrialization in Africa. Obviously, starting from the most critical problem, which is security, but expanding to other critical sectors. Terra today has expanded across 7 countries, protecting over $40 billion worth of assets from mines, borders, pipelines, and is an integral part of the new growing defense architecture on the continent. But today, my goodwill message will be very short because it's more of commitments rather than goodwill. Terra will be joining the SCDC VC program as an LP to co-invest into early-stage industrial startups, solving Nigeria's critical problems across energy, security, and mining. Terra alone cannot solve all these issues, and it has become clear to us that we would need an entire ecosystem of builders, innovators, leaders that are solving these problems at an industrial scale. And this is why we have decided to partner up with SCDC to find the brightest minds across the East. The next is Terra will open world-class research labs across the federal universities in Southeast Nigeria, including UNN, FUTO, UNIZIK, to build the academia industrial complex needed to develop indigenous technologies in security, energy, and mining. Once again, we are very committed to driving and building technology needed for industrialization, and this is just the beginning of where Nigeria will and must get to. Thank you.
I think he deserves a bigger applause, I said it earlier, forget the dreads, focus on the ideas. Please, one more time, can we give him a big round of applause here? Thank you so much. Next on my list, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the MBCO Lemfi, Ridwan Olalere. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Can we keep it going for him, please? Yeah. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Permit me to continue to stand on existing protocol. It is both humbling and also intimidating to stand amidst distinguished people. So thank you for this opportunity. I think that I only have a very short sentence or very short remark. The best investment is the investment in people, the investment in young people, the investment in businesses, and the investment in opportunities. And today, SCDC, the chairman of SCDC, the CEO, has shown a great commitment to that. And thank you for this commitment. Thank you for the country.
Please, can we keep it going for him? Thank you so much. Thank you. Next will be representing the MD, Senior Vice President of Business Development, Flocktawave. Let's make welcome Olufumi Olani. Please, can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Excellency, Honorable Minister, and everyone seated here. So my name is Fumi Olani, like he introduced me, and I lead the business development with the focus on public sector partnership at Flutterwave. It is a privilege to be here today on behalf of Mr. Benga Bola, who is absent, not because he chose to, but because we're called. First, I'd like to commend the Southeast Development Commission, led by Mr. Mark Okoye. Well done for this great job. I'm quite impressed. Thank you so much. And I want to commend you for championing an initiative like the Southeast Venture Capital Program. You're creating a platform that connects entrepreneurs with capital, with mentorship, with long-term opportunities. And this is critical to shaping the future of innovation, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. It is particularly inspiring to see the level of participation and enthusiasm at this program. And this has attracted a lot of us, and we're proud of you. It reinforces what we already know about Nigerian youth. There is no shortage of talent, ambition, creativity, or innovation thinking emerging from the Southeast and across the country. At Flutterwave, we strongly believe that Africa's next generation of global companies will emerge when founders are supported by the right ecosystem, strong institutions, and meaningful access to opportunities. Programs like this actually lay this foundation. We're encouraged to see collaboration among governments, investors, development partners, and the private sector, sharing a commitment to drive sustainable growth and unlock economic opportunities for entrepreneurs and innovators. To all the founders participating, I want to say congratulations on making it this far. Building anything worthwhile is never easy, but initiatives like this serve as a reminder that people and institutions are willing to support bold ideas and transformative businesses. We had a sightseeing to one of the magnificent structure, and I want to say well done to Enugu State Government and also the Southeast. Thank you once again for having us here. We look forward to continued collaboration in strengthening Africa's innovation, entrepreneurship, and investment ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Please, can we give her another round of applause, please? Thank you. Next will be the Executive Director, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, Bank of Industry Limited, Oluwatoyin Edo. Please, can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Thank you. Permit me to also continue to stand on the existing protocol. I bring you glad tidings from the Bank of Industry. The MD, SCDC, the chairman, you guys have done a great work. You have done wonderfully well. We at the Bank of Industry are here to support you to the hilt as much as possible. Right now, our disbursement to Southeast under MSME, which is the portfolio that I oversee, is about 14 billion. And my take is, it shouldn't stop here. as much as possible, we can begin to see how we'll do some kind of partnership that dovetails into maybe managed funds or matching fund. And I want to see that the 14 billion, yes, we have a pipeline of 14 billion, even for the current year, but we can see how we can move that forward. Not just for venture capitals, but existing business startups, probably the guys that will, the finalists here today, and those who could even make it to the finals, that still has some level of bankable project. Bank of Industry also has what we call the Impact Fund that support early startups and all the other businesses along that line. What we're also discussing here today is part of our core thematic areas of our own strategy for the 2025-2027 strategy, which is technology. We also support gender, and we also support digital economy as well. So for all the finalists and those who will win today, congratulations to you. If you did not win, don't worry. You have a bankable project. Come to Bank of Industry. We're willing to support you. And finally, to SCDC, you have done a wonderful, wonderful job. And I'm hoping that the other commission will look towards your direction in leadership for this kind of program as well. Thank you from the Bank of Industry. Thank you.
Thank you. I think he deserves a bigger applause, please, here. So for the finalists, you heard, if you don't win today, come to the Bank of Industries with your bankable idea and they will support you. Please, one more time, give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Next, I have the MD CEO, Ministry of Finance Incorporated, Dr. Anthony Ume Takang. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Dr. Armstrong Ume Takang. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is ably represented by Minister, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, Coordinating Minister of the Economy, as well as Minister of Finance, the Chairman of the Board of SCDC, the MD, members of the board, heads of the various development agencies, the Permanent Secretary of the Regional Development Ministry, all other protocols duly observed. My pardon, the representative of His Excellency the Governor of our host state, SSG, Prof. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here on a number of platforms. First is that the Honorable Minister is coming to my region, and it behoves of me to be here to host him along with other stakeholders. So, Honorable Minister, welcome to our region. I'm also here on the platform of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, that to a large extent is a key stakeholder in SEDC. Why is that? As you know, Ministry of Finance Incorporated is the shareholder in most of government-owned enterprises. And I have one of my board members, Dr. Ike Chioke, who is also the GCO of Afia Invest. He is not only a board member, but he represents the Southeast on the MOFI board. So it is up to him to ensure that the region is well represented on our board. But MOFI holds government assets and investments in excess of over $40 billion across different portfolio companies, starting from NNPC, Bank of Industry that just spoke here, Bank of Agriculture, Development Bank of Nigeria, the DISCOs, PICNG, and EV, Credit Corp. These are all institutions that are within the purview of the Honorable Minister of Finance, whose load is very heavy. And as you know, the ministry can't be everywhere and uses these institutions to deliver dividends of democracy to the people. What we have found is that the government over the last 50 years has done a lot for the different regions in the country. However, for those of you who are grassroots members, you would realize that many of the people in our communities are unaware of what government is doing. Because to a large extent, most of these institutions operate in the ivory towers in Abuja, and are not well represented on the ground. And that is why for us, the formation of SEDC is a very strategic decision, because what it does is that it allows federal government to be able to be closer to the people in terms of the expenditure and the programs that it is deploying resources to. And so that's why we're excited to partner with SEDC, and we look forward to doing more. I know that one of the priorities of the Honorable Minister, based on the conversation we've had, is the fact that he would like to use his platform as a coordinating minister of the economy to create stronger alliances and alignment with the subnationals. And I believe that the SEDC will be very pivotal in delivering on that. And we also are committing that through our portfolio companies, you've heard one of them, BOI, DBN, Credit Corp, PICNG. We also have others like the PFI, which is the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative that brings in fertilizer in bulk and distributes them to different blenders. We are looking forward to how we can partner with stakeholders in the Southeast, and we look forward to partnering with SEDC in the implementation of that. And I'm also glad to announce, perhaps the Honorable Minister will speak about that later, but the President has made provisions for a metro rail in Enugu for a feasibility study. I think the President deserves a better round of applause than that. And that's in recognition of the pivotal role that Enugu plays in the Southeast region. The President also approved, under MOFI, a feasibility study for converting the narrow gauge rail into a freight rail to reduce the pressure on our roads. That for us is also a very symbolic step. Why is that? A lot of the times when you travel on major roads coming to the Southeast, you see large articulated lorries bringing in raw materials for production at our industrial sites. That damages the roads and reduces the lifespan of the roads. But with this rail, we can bring in raw materials for production, and we can also take goods out of the region to the various parts of the country. We believe that is also something that is very significant for the region. There's also a program called the Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Fund that we're doing in partnership with the African Development Bank. The seed funding is $100 million. It is precisely for what the SEDC is doing here today. And it is to provide funding, equity funding, not debt, equity funding for youth enterprises. And we believe that the Southeast has an incredible opportunity to tap into that fund once it is launched for equity purposes. And I would urge the team at SEDC to take advantage of that. There's also IDICE, which is being managed under Bank of Industry. That is up to $600 million. And that again is for the creative enterprises as well as technology enterprises that will be investing in both training, capacity development, as well as for equity investment into a lot of these enterprises. So in all, you're looking at least between north of $800 million to $1 billion that the federal government has mobilized and made available for these types of programs. And it is important that all of you who are seated here, especially our entrepreneurs, to know that these resources are available and you should tap into that. So this will provide you equity, but there's also the debt component that is available from the Bank of Industry. It is also available from DBN, Credit Corp, and many of the other government enterprises that are under the MOFI portfolio and ultimately under the Minister of Finance. So I want to thank you for SEDC for this initiative and creating the platform and the delivery mechanism for these programs that the federal government is engaging in. Thank you very much.
Please, one more time, can we give him a round of applause, please? Yeah. If you're excited that our rails will come back on, please, can we clap for him, please? Yeah. Please. I agree that we need to decongest our roads and use more of the rail. Please, one more time, let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. All right. On behalf of all Regional Development Commission, I'd like to welcome upstage Executive Director, Corporate Services, representing the Managing Director, CEO, Southwest Development Commission. Please join me as I make welcome Right Honorable Fumi Tejuosho. Please can we give her a round of applause, please? Can we please keep it going for her, please? Yeah. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
digital health insurance solutions, logistics and product management platforms, solar inverter and renewable energy systems, talent recruitment platforms, digital voting and ticketing technology, food delivery applications, and several other innovative services. These businesses are not merely ideas. They are scalable economic solutions capable of creating jobs, improving productivity, increasing access to services, and expanding economic participation. Distinguished guests, one of the most important lessons from successful economies around the world is that innovation thrives where access to capital exists. That is why venture capital remains one of the most important tools for economic growth in the 21st century. Venture capital is not simply about funding businesses. It is about investing in innovation, supporting creativity, empowering risk-taking, and building future industries. Many of the world's leading technology companies today started as small startup ideas, supported by investors who believed in innovation before it became globally successful. The Southeast Venture Capital Program is therefore a strategic and timely initiative because it creates a pathway for innovators and entrepreneurs to access funding, mentorship, partnerships, and investor confidence. Most importantly, this program can create real opportunities for young people across the Southeast by supporting startup growth, encouraging innovation, strengthening digital skills, expanding employment opportunities, and building a stronger technology ecosystems within the region. A young entrepreneur with a digital platform and the right support can now build solutions capable of serving thousands and even millions of people across Nigeria and beyond. That is the power of digital economy. No single institution can drive economic transformation alone. Government must create enabling policies. Private sector must invest boldly. Development partners must provide strategic support. Financial institutions must believe in innovation. Universities must also strengthen digital and entrepreneurial education. International partners must collaborate in building sustainable ecosystems for enterprise development. This is therefore a call for collaboration between government, investors, innovators, development agencies, the private sector, and the global investment community. Together we can build a stronger ecosystem for technology, innovation, and enterprise development within the Southeast. I believe very strongly that the Southeast possesses everything required to become a leading innovation hub, a destination for venture capital and technology investment, a center for digital enterprise, and a globally competitive regional economy. We must therefore continue to build a Southeast that leads, innovates, creates opportunities, attracts investment, empowers young people, and prospers sustainably. All the entrepreneurs speaking today, I congratulate you for your courage, creativity, and determination. To the investors and partners present here, I encourage you to recognize the enormous responsibilities presented by these young innovators. And to the organizers of this program, I want to commend you. The SCDC, ably led by Mark Okoye, I believe you are doing a very, very wonderful job. All I want to say is to please keep it up. May this initiative continue to inspire innovation, deepen partnership and entrepreneurship, strengthen investor confidence, and create sustainable prosperity for the Southeast and Nigeria as a whole. Let me thank you very much, And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you once again.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Please, can we give him a bigger applause, please? Thank you, sir. Next up will be a remark from our host state. And to do all the honors, Your Excellencies, let's make welcome the SSG to the government of Enugu State. Please let's welcome Professor Chidebere Onya. Please, can we give him a resounding applause, please? SSG to the government of Enugu State. Professor Chidebere Onya. Please, one more time, can we keep it going for him, please? Let's keep it going for him. Thank you, sir.
Please sit down. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, here represented by the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Taiwo Oyedele, the Chairman, Southeast Development Commission, Dr. Emeka Nwogu, CON, the MD, CEO of the Southeast Development Commission, Mr. Dr. Mark Okoye, the Chairman, House Committee on SEDC, Honorable Chris Nkwonta, the CEO of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, Dr. Armstrong Ume, representing the Minister of Finance here, one of the ministers, Dr. Mary Owe, the MD, CEO of the Southwest Development Commission, represented by the ED of the Commission, Right Honorable Fumi Teji-Osho, the board members of SEDC here present, all the heads of parastatals here present, the Honorable Minister of Finance for Enugu State, representing all the Executive Council members here, the Chairman of the Enugu State Board of Internal Revenue, representing all the heads of parastatals and all the senior special advisors, top government functionaries, captains of industries here present, invited guests, and all the special successful applicants and awardees that are here present, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Nobody said good afternoon back to me. Okay, that's a sign to make my speech short, so I'll try my best. It is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of responsibility that I stand here before you today. On behalf of His Excellency, Dr. Peter Ndubuisimba, the Governor of Enugu State, who would have personally participated in this very important gathering, but for some other pressing state engagements demanding his attention. He has, however, directed me to convey his warm regards, deep appreciation and unwavering commitment to this transformative initiative being championed by the Southeast Development Commission in partnership with critical stakeholders across the public and the private sector. Today's gathering is not merely another conference or ceremonial event. It represents a strategic economic intervention and a bold statement of intent about the future of the Southeast and indeed the future of Nigeria's economic development. At a time when economies across the world are increasingly driven by innovation, entrepreneurship, technology, venture financing, and knowledge-based industries, this initiative demonstrates that the Southeast is ready to reposition itself competitively within the emerging global economic order. Let me sincerely commend the Southeast Development Commission and all strategic partners for conceptualizing and driving this venture capital program, an initiative that speaks directly to the core imperatives of sustainable economic growth, enterprise development, youth empowerment, innovative financing, and regional competitiveness. This program comes at a critical period in our national development journey when subnational governments, regional institutions, Financial stakeholders and development partners must intentionally create enduring pathways for productivity, entrepreneurship, industrialization, and inclusive wealth creation. Across the world today, nations that have achieved a sustainable economic prosperity did not do so merely through natural resources or government expenditure alone. They succeeded because they deliberately built systems that supported enterprise, rewarded innovation, unlocked private capital, and created enabling ecosystems for businesses to thrive. This is precisely why this initiative, such as this, are extremely important. They move us beyond rhetorics into practical economic transformation by connecting ideas to capital, innovation to opportunity, and entrepreneurship to sustainable development. The government of Enugu State is therefore proud to be a strategic partner in this initiative because it aligns perfectly with the economic philosophy and governance vision of our administration under the leadership of Dr. Peter Ndubisimba. Our administration firmly believes that the future of governance must transcend dependency on public allocation and embrace productivity-driven economic expansions that are powered by private enterprise, technology, innovation, industrial growth, and strategic investment and partnerships. We, as a government, recognize that government alone cannot create prosperity unless it deliberately creates the conditions that allow businesses to flourish. Prosperity emerges when government builds infrastructure, strengthens institutions, guarantees security, improves ease of doing business, expands access to opportunity, and creates innovator confidence. This understanding has continued to shape the bold reforms and strategic interventions being implemented by the Mba administration across critical sectors in Enugu State. Under Governor Peter Ndubisimba's leadership, Enugu State is aggressively repositioning itself as one of Nigeria's most attractive destinations for investment, commerce, innovation, technology, agro-industrialization, manufacturing, logistics, and enterprise development. You're free to clap if you wanted to clap. Honorable Minister, I had to say that. The administration is investing heavily in critical infrastructure, transformation networks, digital connectivity, education reform, security architecture, healthcare systems, power infrastructure, and smart urban development, because no economy can thrive sustainably without modern infrastructure, serving as the backbone of productivity and investment growth. This initiative also strongly resonates with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, particularly the strategic partnership emphasis on innovation, financing mechanisms capable of unlocking local capital, supporting startups, de-risking entrepreneurship, strengthening small and medium-scale enterprises, and restoring investor confidence in Nigeria's economy. The future of economic growth in emerging economies will depend significantly on how effective governments and institutions democratize access to capital for young entrepreneurs, innovators, and high-potential enterprises. One of the greatest challenges, as we all know, confronting emerging businesses across Africa is not necessarily the absence of ideas or talent, but the lack of access to patient capital capable of helping those ideas scale into successful enterprises. Many brilliant young entrepreneurs possess transformative solutions in agriculture, fintech, digital technology, renewable energy, manufacturing, and creative industries, yet they remain constrained because they cannot access the financial requirements to move beyond concept to commercial success. This is why venture capital financing remains globally recognized as one of the strongest catalysts for industrial transformation, technology growth, business expansion, and long-term economic competitiveness. We are very proud of the Southeast Economic Development Commission for what they are doing here today. It is therefore commendable that we continue to support this program that seeks to mobilize resources in the excess of $15 million to support emerging businesses across the Southeast region. This is not merely funding in ordinary sense of the word. It is an investment in ideas, talent, resilience, creativity, innovation, productivity, and the future prosperity of millions of our people. It is an investment in jobs, in economic stability, in industrial growth, and in the emergence of new generations of globally competitive African entrepreneurs. The anchoring of this initiative within the Southeast Investment Company further demonstrates institutional foresight. And I was listening carefully to the MD. It completely shows a thought process that is quite commendable. It talks about strategic coordination and sustainability. Beyond simply providing seed financing, the incorporation of incubation support, mentorship framework, investor networking opportunities, enterprise acceleration systems, and strategic advisory services creates a holistic ecosystem capable of nurturing globally and regionally competitive entrepreneurs. For us in Enugu, this initiative strongly complements our broader economic agenda aimed at growing the state's economy exponentially through the strategic investment in technology, infrastructure, industrialization, agro-processing, digital innovation, and all the other sectoral interventions that we have put in. Our administration is focused on creating a modern economy capable of generating jobs, attracting investments, stimulating productivity, and improving the quality of lives of our people. Under Governor Peter Ndubuisimba's leadership, Enugu is being repositioned not merely as a civil service state like it used to be, but as a modern economic powerhouse where innovation, enterprise, technology, and industry can flourish sustainably. The state is increasingly emerging as a destination of choice for investors because of the deliberate reforms targeted at improving ease of doing business here, strengthening our infrastructure, and enhancing security and building institutional efficiency. To the young founders here, innovators, entrepreneurs, and participants in today's speech competition grand finale, let me say this very clearly. The future belongs to those who are bold enough to innovate, to create solutions, to challenge limitations, and transform problems into opportunities. Your ideas matter. Your enterprise matters. The entrepreneurial spirit of our people, and we will continue to build that as our greatest asset. As a government, we will continue to support policies, partnerships, and institutional frameworks that expand access to opportunity, unlock capital, strengthen investors' confidence, promote enterprise, and create an enabling environment where businesses can thrive in the region without unnecessary bureaucratic barriers. We believe strongly that sustainable economic transformation can only occur when governments, investors, development institutions, entrepreneurs, and the private sector work collaboratively towards shared prosperity. On behalf of His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Ndubuisimba, I sincerely congratulate the organizers, particularly the MD and his board, who have constantly showed an appetite for learning and constantly showed that a knowledge-based and evidence-based initiative and intervention is what can help us drive this sustainable change. So please, I'd like us to put our hands together for the management and the leadership of the Southeast Development Commission, led by Dr. Mark and the board chairman here. Your commitment to enterprise, development, and regional economic transformation deserves commendation. We look forward with optimism to the emergence of the globally competitive businesses and transformational enterprises that will not only strengthen the Southeast economy, but also contribute significantly to Nigeria's economic renaissance and Africa's broader development story. Together, we can build a future where innovation is rewarded, enterprise is supported, talents are nurtured, and prosperity is shared. Thank you so much. May God bless all of you. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Please can we give him a resounding applause? That is our SSG. Honorable Minister, have you met our SSG? That is him. Please can we give him a resounding applause again? Yeah. As a visiting professor of the Godfrey Okoye University, I was under his, he lectured me once, and we come to class with a dictionary. Because you need to cross-check every word to be sure that you're communicating with Prof. Please, one more time, can we give Prof a round of applause, please? Eloquent, anytime, any day. Yeah. Our finalists, hope you understood. Finalists, did you understand? Okay, thank you. Prof, they are in line. In line. All right. Next up, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, would be the presentation of the Southeast Venture Capital Funds. This item will run us through 60 minutes and then Mr. President will address us. First on my list, please join me as I make welcome the Vice President and Head, Financial Advisory, Cardinal Stone Partners. Let's make welcome Yemi Fadaonsi. This time we give him a round of applause, please. Thank you, Yemi. They said you should keep it simple, that Prof, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I promise I'll be very quick. Thank you. Okay, standing on all existing protocols, and I think also congratulations to the finalists from yesterday's program. Is it? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so I think very quickly I'll go through the fund structure and how, everything that has been spoken prior to now is how the Commission is planning to execute it and propagate a lot of these initiatives via the Venture Capital Fund. The objective here is to really create a vehicle that will mirror a commercially focused global and standardized venture capital fund. Very quickly, I'll be going through, the fund structure and terms, and the key investment concentrations, the investment strategy, and why we think this is a fund that each and everyone in this room should be proud of, and for the investors that are present and the key stakeholders, why this is a fund that should be backed by way of your investments. Thank you. So I think the opportunity is clear in terms of the play here. The Southeast region is a giant awaiting capital, and with budding entrepreneurs and a very young and growing population. I think it's clear that the opportunity for structured investment capital to grow the economy it's never been clear. The investment rationale for this fund really is to bring in that structured capital, to unlock proprietary deal flow, and bring in a lot of the commercial, world-class financial perspectives into unlocking some of the benefits that the capital can help the region achieve. I think key thing here to note is obviously the population of about 30 million people, about 22% of the total SME in Nigeria domiciled in the southeast. However, when you look at where the capital is going, a lot of it still continues to go to the southwest. And I think I'll just quickly go through the venture capital fund itself. I think the key problems, as highlighted, are clear. There's capital concentration in the southwest part of Nigeria. So a lot of the money is being raised in Lagos. A lot of the startups are largely Lagos-based. So there's a clear capital border issue there. So leaving a lot of high potential startups in the southeast and also other parts of Nigeria underserved. I think the next thing is really the fragmented ecosystem. There's not a lot of institutional grade accelerators or incubators in the area. Obviously, the Southeast is home to the world-renowned apprenticeship system, but this initiative is supposed to take that to a new level of scale. So this fragmented ecosystem has not been able to allow for capital to come in. You've seen a lot of founder migration, like the MD, CEO of the SCDC had spoken to earlier, of a lot of individuals, entrepreneurs looking for capital, either moving to the southwest or moving abroad. So people who seek capital in this region have historically moved elsewhere to get the capital. I think lastly, but not least, is really more on capital allocation, right? So there's a lot of capital in this region that is looking for where to deploy. However, there is not a structured alternative investment vehicle that can allow this capital to generate above risk adjusted returns or high yielding returns that is risk free. So I think the objective here of the venture capital fund really is to set up this vehicle that will very mirror a commercially focused globalized venture capital type structure. The plan is to set up a fund of $50 million in a blended finance vehicle, with the first close at $14 million, if I'm correct. And the goal here is to ensure that this fund is managed by an independent world-class fund manager, which speaks more to a lot of the initiatives from a private-public partnership perspective that the SCDC is trying to push. And obviously, the target investors of this fund will be the DFIs, a number of which are in this room, are qualified institutional investors, high net worth individuals, the Igbo diaspora, as well as a lot of asset managers in the Nigerian and global ecosystem. I think from a fund mandate perspective, 4 thematic focus areas: technology, innovation, enterprise, and scalability. And some of the core sector focus areas will be agri-tech and food systems, clean energy, commerce and logistics, ed-tech and skills development, fintech and financial inclusion, health tech, manufacturing and industrial technology, and software as a service, as well as digital platforms. And I think, one of the core value drivers and levers is really the fund is seeking to also just benefit and leverage the competitive advantages of the member states in the Southeast region. So you're looking at Enugu's Digital Infrastructure Foundation, you're looking at Anambra's manufacturing/tech fusion. You're looking at Abia's grassroots innovation culture. You're looking at Ebonyi's agri-tech leadership. And you're looking at Imo State's knowledge economy. And a lot of this, in addition to many other key competitive advantages across the individual states, those will serve as the core value drivers and key pillars for the underlying investments that will eventually benefit from this fund, and also as a result benefiting investors who participate. The case for venture capital is very clear. There's a lot of venture capital funding that has evolved over the years, and it continues to grow. I think to date, almost 500 or about $500 million in venture capital funding has been raised in across Africa, with majority of it going, to Kenya, Egypt, but some of it also coming to Nigeria. I think, in terms of just bringing it home to the Nigerian context, there's a number of indigenously owned venture capital funds that have been set up. I note Ventures platform in the room as ably represented by Kola. These are people who have built this fund and have invested in many great companies, some of which you can see on the screen, the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave, Bamboo Capital, many more, companies that started from very early stage and today are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and creating significant value for the Nigerian economy. So the goal is that, in the very near future, there will be companies like this coming from the Southeast region, and that's really the objective here. I think the investment strategy will follow investment across the entire life cycle, from formation to product validation to business model validation, to building the company and then scaling the company. So the objective, one of the core investment strategy, will involve investing across every stage of the life cycle to ensure that the founders and the entrepreneurs get the help they need to get the businesses from a formative state to a stage where they can actually attract significant growth capital. And I think the investment process, like I've mentioned before, will follow the very standard, globally followed investment process, which will start from sourcing investment, screening investment, doing the pre-deal due diligence on investments, and then before doing a detailed due diligence on investment, to closing the deal with these companies, and then helping the companies grow further, develop them, and hopefully one day exit the investments to other investors who then wish to take on the company to the next phase, as well as in addition to that, some of the other core tenets of the fund will also involve adhering to ESG standards, as well as best-in-class risk management standards, as well as just bringing also financing and tech benefits to the companies that benefit from the investment. In terms of the capital distribution, the expectation is of the 50 million raised as of funding close, 80% of that will be targeted towards the earlier stage of the life cycle. So that is pre-seed and seed investment, while 18%, while the balance will go towards the follow-on investment. So the majority of it will be for the early stage, and then if there's a need for to make additional investments to catalyze the growth, there's a portion of the funding that has been reserved for that as well. And so in terms of the fund structure and terms at a glance, like I said before, the fund will hire a dedicated fund manager that will be involved in managing the fund day to day. The core thematic areas will be tech, innovation, enterprise, and scalability. And in terms of the actual terms, obviously this is is indicative at this point. The 50 million is clear. But in terms of the investment period and how many investments per year, these are things that are will be determined as the fund nears formal closure. But like I said, a lot of this will be very similar to your global best-in-class venture capital funds, and the instruments that the funds will be able to deploy will flow from equity, pure equity, to structured equity, to enable the fund achieve commercially viable returns. And then the fund will also benefit from a standard governance framework, which will involve an advisory board that oversees an investment committee that oversees the core fund management team, which will then be reporting to the venture capital fund itself as overseen by the board of directors. Now, I think in terms of the competitive advantage, that's pretty, that's something that has been stated many times. But just to reiterate, I think in terms of the, I think one of the strongest points for the SC Venture Capital Fund or Southeast Venture Capital Fund is the, strong pipeline. As you're all aware, there was the massive and very successful competition yesterday. And some of those companies are already companies that will potentially be earmarked for the pipeline, as well as other significant, other companies that have already been spoken to. I think the key thing here is that the Southeast region is home to a lot of entrepreneurs. So you are looking at a region with latent growth potential that has not seen the type of structured equity or structured equity vehicle that the Southeast Venture Capital Fund is going to provide to them. So there's clearly a lot of latent ready investment, investment opportunities for the Southeast Venture Capital Fund once it launches. I think the next big thing is the plan to create value post-investment. So touching on human capital, one of the key areas of focus will be to help these companies develop their human capital capacity. There's also intellectual capital, help them, to better improve their business model innovation and how to, secure the intellectual capital that is built within these institutions. I think, and also in terms of just structuring post-capital financial decision making, I think that's one of the key value adds that the Venture Capital Fund will also bring to bear. And then also helping these companies improve their processes, as well as, just the culture, which is super important to this type of initiative. I think the other very important thing, and particularly for investors, the objective of the fund is to one day be able to get these companies to a point where they can be exited and sold to perhaps a bigger fund. Maybe, I don't know if Mark is planning for a growth fund that can exit this, but the goal is to ultimately create a liquidity event for investors who are coming into this fund, such that it is a commercially viable initiative ultimately. I think the final thing is why would you want to invest? Just bring it back all together. Again, largely underserved market opportunity. The Southeast region is a giant awaiting capital. And once the capital comes, even without the capital, there's been so many very important, companies that have come out of this region. So there are many of them. So this is just really going to just catalyze that further and do that at a level that we've not seen before. I think the strong founder pipeline I've mentioned before. There's a very large number of entrepreneurial mindset in this region. I think from a funding perspective, the opportunity to bring blended finance, de-risked financing into this region also would help catalyze that growth further. I've spoken on the proprietary deal flow, and as well as just the opportunity for investors in diaspora, to participate in an alternative investment instrument, and not the traditional that you see like real estate or farm. This is purely alternative and gives very good diversification exposure to investors who are looking to participate in the Southeast region, as well as aiding economic benefits, growing employment, and all the other important things that the Southeast Development Commission seeks to achieve. So I think this is the end of the presentation. Thank you for, I hope I was short. Thank you for listening to me, and we hope that this venture capital fund is very successful, and we hope to that the next time we're here, we are speaking about the exits and the track record and how it has achieved so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, can we give him a round of applause, please? Let's keep it going for him. I'd also like to announce that this paperwork is being shared in the hall. Right now there are hard copies, so you can also go through it. And for those who can grab that, you can go to our website, the resource page, www.sedc.gov.ng. You'll find it there. Thank you. Please, one more time, can we give him a round of applause, please? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next will be for the fireside chat with Kola Aino. Please join me as I make welcome Program Advisor, Southeast Venture Capital Program, Frances Ndoku. Can we give her a round of applause, please? All right. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Special greetings to His Excellency, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, represented in absentia. Also, special greetings to all of our honorable SCDC Board of Directors, the Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Mark Okoye, regional ministers, state government representatives, and all guests joining here today in person and online. I welcome you. And I stand on existing protocol. My name is Frances Onyemechi Udukwu, and I have the special and very unique privilege of moderating today's fireside chat themed Rethinking Venture Capital for the Southeast Economy with Mr. Kola Aina. Let's make him welcome. We can do better than that. Let's make him welcome. A Southeastern welcome. So I believe here with Mr. Kola Aina, we have the special privilege of essentially bringing home all that we just previously heard. So in case all you were hearing was security, liquidity, we're here to bring that home. So I'll give a brief bio of Mr. Kola. So Mr. Kola is the first son of a serial entrepreneur, former operator across software, tourism, and construction. And with this duplicity of experience, he's also as well known, the founder of Ventures Park, a co-working space and founders community. He's also the founder of Ventures Platform Foundation, empowering entrepreneurs by providing education, digital resources, advocacy for entrepreneurship-friendly policies like the Nigeria Startup Bill. He's also known as the founding partner of Ventures Platform, one of Africa's leading early-stage VC firms supporting young founders with empathy, curiosity, and urgency at unprecedented speed. And I believe these numbers here are right. Over 140 plus founders across 75 active portfolio companies in 6 countries, with said companies raising over $1 billion USD in follow-on capital. Again, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So just feel free. Oh, how did I miss that? He's also an art collector, an all-around builder, and known in the ecosystem as a maestro of venture capital. So I'll go ahead and proceed for the lack of time. So our objectives for the fireside objective are the following. We're going to make the investment case for Southeast. We're going to position the Southeast VC program as a credible platform for founder development and capital deployment. We're also going to explore capital, governance, and ecosystem conditions required for sustainable investment. We will also clarify what founders need to attract, use, and grow with capital responsibly. And lastly, we'll close with a vision of the Southeast as a recognized source of investable innovation and wealth creation. And we'll be doing this across 4 segments. The investment case, as I mentioned, so why the Southeast and why now? Building a credible ecosystem and moving enterprises from pipeline to capital. And lastly, developing the coalition that's ready to play the long game. So we'll start off with segment 1. The investment case, why the Southeast and why now? So Mr. Kola, you have watched Nigerians' venture ecosystem evolve over the last decade or so. And as I mentioned previously, as the founding partner of Ventures Park and Ventures Platform, you've backed over 100 founders across 75 portfolios and several countries. So my question to you is, When you look at what SCDC is building through this venture capital program and through the venture capital fund as a regionally anchored fund and platform, directing risk capital to Southeast builders and enterprises, what is your honest read? Is this the right intervention, and is this the right time?
Thank you very much for that lengthy introduction. I was very embarrassed to sit here and listen to everything. So I will go ahead and stand on the already established protocol to say how delighted I am to be here in front of this very distinguished audience. When Mark reached out to me about all of the amazing work he and the team were doing here, I was really, really excited to read about it, but also to be here myself today, because this is actually an answer to a prayer that I and many others across the ecosystem have been having quietly for many years. Because the reality is that, you can't build an ecosystem by simply hacking your way through it or trying to entrepreneur your way through it. Government really has to step into the fray, and government really has to become very catalytic. And so I'm really excited to be here. Ventures Platform was very proud to partner, and I had colleagues here yesterday working with the startups, and we'll continue to support this on an ongoing basis. Now, in terms of the question that you asked, I think the obvious question is yes. I mean, we've had the Honorable Minister of Finance sit here through over the last couple of hours. It shows the level of seriousness that the federal government is allocating to this sector. But I think the reason it's important, I'll just highlight 3 reasons. So as you said in the beginning, when we started investing as Ventures Platform, in 2016, Nigeria probably attracted something in the region of about $40 million, the entire country in venture capital. In 2021, we saw that number peak at about $1.2 billion. Obviously, we've now seen a pullback across the world and across Africa, and Nigeria has also been impacted. And I must say that we have to do something about the Kenyans and the Egyptians, because they seem to be taking a lot of the venture capital coming into the continent. But one of the reasons I think this is a timely intervention is globally we're seeing a move away from globalization, right? Countries are looking more inwards. And so the necessity for domestic capital has never been more critical. And what the Southeast is doing is essentially a reflection of what needs to happen on the national scale. And I'm really glad to hear of all of the things that Mr. Armstrong also spoke about on stage, about what's happening nationally, including IDICE, the IDICE program, and several other government interventions that are really looking at unlocking domestic capital at a time when we really, really need it as a country. I think the second reason why this really resonates is with all of the noise that we make across African VC and African startups, less than 1% of global venture capital comes to Africa. Let that sink in for a moment. Less than 1% of global VC comes to Africa. And so on stage earlier on, you had Ridwan of Lemfi, one of our portfolio companies, come on stage. You have companies like MoneyPoint. All of those companies together have only attracted, we have Flutterwave on stage, less than 1% of global VC. And so we need so much more capital, because this is becoming the most populous continent in the world. And this region particularly is critical to the future of the continent. I think the third reason I think it's a really timely intervention is that for the first time, we are seeing a well thought out investment in human potential. And I think the SCDC deserves a round of applause for prioritizing human potential, which really, if you think about it, is really Nigeria's most abundant and most important resource. And so, it's counterintuitive for a government agency that has a regional mandate to prioritize investment in human potential over roads and bridges. And I'm not saying we're not going to build roads and bridges, because we can chew gum and dance at the same time. But I think this is the most important vertical to prioritize, and I commend once again the focus on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that highlight. And I want to pick out a few things that you've mentioned. Specifically around the necessity for domestic capital is now. right? And the fact that in reality, only less than 1% of that VC capital comes to Africans. So question to you, if you are given the opportunity to steward a fund like this, given its regional focus and given the fund's hybrid nature of being owned by the Southeast but professionally managed, how would you advise us do so?
Wow, where do I start from? Well, I'll just probably highlight a few opportunity areas that I think are ripe for venture capital in the region. Nigeria-China trade every year is something in the region of about $20 billion. I would argue, and we have statisticians in the room, probably something in the region of 40% of that trade comes from this axis, the Southeast. Unfortunately or fortunately, the vast majority of that trade is largely informal, right? And even where it's formal, it's highly inefficient. So things like, getting money across to fulfill your invoices to your counterparties, is very slow, is very costly and expensive. And today, with the sort of advent of stable coins and all kinds of technologies, there's an opportunity to get that money movement to have a higher velocity, and all kinds of sort of efficiencies that you can bring to formalizing informal trade. That also helps with the national agenda of expanding the base of taxation and sort of, moving away from, oil revenues and things of that nature. I think the second sort of exciting thing I will focus on is really, if you go to Nnewi, if you go to Aba, you have all of the legacy industries that are really at the heartbeat of the economy of the region. But how do we start to use robotics and IoT to really sort of transform the industrial landscape of the region so we can expand productivity? I think there's an incredible opportunity to leverage local innovation of the young men and women in the room to power our legacy industries. And perhaps just as important, we talked about earlier on the agricultural leadership that states like Ebonyi have demonstrated. How might we use technology to expand yield, and solve the issue of wastage that is rather unfortunate but still exists across our country? There are tremendous opportunities, I would say, to use technology and innovation to really expand the economy of the region. And I think one other reason this is such an important initiative, and I speak as a capital allocator that's actively deploying capital, is that, if you take any one state in the region, the markets are just too small by themselves. That's the reality. But when you take a regional approach, you're able to sort of have a greater TAM, total addressable market, for the non-inducted folks in the audience, but also you're able to coordinate yourself as state governments to say, because look, some of the largest buyers in our country today remain state governments and federal governments. And so if state governments say, look, we're going to rally around innovations that come out of this program, you can actually create companies that have more significant TAMs and can grow and become national champions from the Southeast.
Amazing. And before I skip over to the next segment, you did also touch on something that I actively want to highlight, talking about formalizing informal markets. I mean, it's a given that the Southeast does not have necessarily an enterprise problem, but what we're looking at doing is creating a structure. So, talking about incubations and accelerators and creating the framework for the kind of business thinking that scales on one end. But then there's also the continual pushback around how with VC it almost looks maybe insignificant, or you don't visibly see the success immediately. So there's, the concern about maybe perhaps using that funding to build something else outside that's physical or can be felt. So just curious to know your feedback on that, being a financial allocator, and how you deem some of the experiences you've had with the businesses you funded, and possibly if there's any example within the MSME side or informal market, would love to hear.
I'm going to say something rather controversial here, but with the permission of the Honorable Minister, I will go ahead. I think, look, VC is one tool in a box, but it's not the only tool, and I'm very quick to say, SMEs are great, MSMEs are great. We need lots of SMEs and SMEs, but venture capital is not meant for SMEs, and we need to constantly make that dichotomy very clear. Venture capital is meant for high growth companies that can grow really fast and that can make transformative impact in the lives of people and in countries. So take, for instance, our portfolio company, a company called MoneyPoint. I'm sure some of you might have heard about it. MoneyPoint today has become a systemic part of how businesses move money, how people are paid, and knock on wood, nothing happens to MoneyPoint, but if MoneyPoint turns off its switch today, commerce will slow across the country. Take, for instance, a company like a company like PiggyVest, another example that I'll give, founded by 5 young Nigerians, some of whom are Southeasterners, that today has expanded access to high-yield savings and investments to millions of young Nigerians who are able to sort of save and invest, and has actually now created a culture of savings amongst our young people and investments. And so I think, you start to give a bad rap to startups and venture capital funded companies when you expect them to solve all of the problems. The Southeast we need credits, we need venture capital, we need loans for SMEs, we need grants, we need all kinds of instruments. I'm only one kind of doctor, but I try to do all I can. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarity and transparency. So what would you say is the method to the innovation when we talk about the follow-on support? So outside of receiving the capital, what's next? And I know that while building Ventures platform, you were very precise and particular about value creation in terms of what that looks like to access the market, building actual traction and actually knowing your customers.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, those of us that are VC funds, a couple of my colleagues are in the audience, we're here today because we want to stay close to the companies that are going to be invested in here so we can potentially follow on some of those investments. But I think the trick to do that is to ensure that we are investing in companies that are painkillers and not vitamins. So how do you identify a company that is really solving the pain points of the local communities in and around the Southeast, companies that are solving for non-consumption, as we like to call it at Ventures platform? Because, look, the reality is there's chronic non-consumption of, we just talked about investments, formal financial services, nutrition and education. And so I think the starting point is really in the selection. And that's why I was really excited to hear that and to see and experience, because like I said, Ventures Platform investor has been here since yesterday, a couple of days ago actually, and he confirmed to me that the process has been, very transparent. The quality of the companies are incredible, and I want to call my state governor to say we need to come and replicate what's happening in the Southeast as well, So yeah, I think all of the right boxes have been ticked, and I'm quite optimistic to see the companies that will come out of the program. Yeah.
Thank you. And before you call your state, allow us to be the model first. Another question on...
Look, I'm partly, my wife is from the region, so I have an incentive to make this work as well.
Welcome home. Another follow-on question to the aspect of value creation, but looking at it from the fund side. So I'm curious to know what results or sort of performance must the fund demonstrate over the next possibly 1 to 3 years so that serious investors and fund managers can continue participating. And while I have you there, I give you full license to tell us how Ventures platform will meaningfully support the fund.
Yeah, sure. Look, I think it's going to be very difficult to build Well, the SEDC can't build the ecosystem in isolation. We must recognize that very quickly. And it's going to be very difficult for this ecosystem to be nurtured without the participation of local men and women of means. And so, there is an opportunity for, I saw Uche in the audience, Uche who started the South-Southeast Angel Network. But we need way more. We need the Nnewi Industrial Angels Network. We need the Aba Angel Network. We need the Onitsha Angel Network. We need angel networks across all of the hubs in the Southeast. Because without private capital that is patient, that is committed, I wrote my first angel check in 2014. And at the time, my wife thought I was high on some rockers or something, because it was like you were pissing money away. But fast forward 2020, the Paystack exit happened, and everyone now sort of started to understand what we were talking about. I recall in 2018, giving a TED talk in London titled, "Who Will Own Our Future Unicorns?" And at the time, it was a call to action to brothers and sisters that look like me to say great companies would be built in Nigeria and in Africa. But if we don't participate, if we don't invest, they will all be owned by people that don't look like us. So again, I take the opportunity of being here today to challenge all of the big movers and shakers of the region to say we all have to put our money where our mouth is.
Indeed. And I believe that serves as a final word on this fire chat. Thank you all for listening. God bless the Southeast. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Please, one more time, can we give them a round of applause here? And thank you so much, Frances. Thank you. We now are battling to hear you well. The accent was just, Thank you, Frances. Thank you. All right. Next up, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is Capital, Innovation, and the Southeast Opportunity. Join me as I make welcome Zen Finance and Ycrypt, Ugochukwu Arono. Please, can we give him a round of applause, please? That's the tallest man in the building, please. Let's keep it going for him. Let's keep it going for him. Let's keep it going for him. Well done.
Good afternoon, everybody. Standing on all existing protocols, I would really like to say first, congratulations to the SEDC, Mark.